my name is Kevin Custer. I'm a founding principal of Art Capital Development. We're a private equity firm that focuses on the education space. We invest in and operate companies. I'm also the CEO of one of our portfolio companies called Autism Pro, and we help school districts build capacity to work with children with autism. I think when I look back at the other SIIA and SBA conferences, what I remember in the very beginning is how friendly it was, how when you walk in, people were interested in what you were doing and they were interested in connecting you to people. And it made you feel like you could become part of the industry very quickly. There wasn't a clique, there wasn't anything that prohibited you from getting involved. And for the people that I met, I consider a lot of those people my friends now, but everybody had a very open and willing arm to say, come on in and meet everybody and hear what's going on. I think the other part I noticed about it too is when something like that happened, you had the opportunity to get yourself involved. There wasn't a big threshold or something like that you had to cross. It was up to you just to say, gosh, I'd like to get involved. And as you got involved, you all of a sudden everybody became very good friends. And I thought that was a great part of the conference is what starts all that and puts it together. As I'm looking at the seminal moments in education technology over the last 20, 25 years, I think it comes down to the type of access that's happened in classrooms. And what I mean by that, the seminal moments came when Apple introduced the Macintosh 575, where it had a CD-ROM player and a monitor built in. And what that did, that gave classroom computers access to, all of a sudden 500, megs of information. And then the next seminal moment comes with access to the internet, where all of a sudden now everything is accessible. So I think the seminal moments come in access that people are getting. Now I think what we're seeing happening, the seminal moments coming in personal devices, that I'm able to no longer have to have a $2,000 laptop. It's the personal devices, things like that. So if I'm looking back on it, I don't think it's one seminal moment. I think it's one seminal event that happens, and that is we're figuring out a way to really get people access to the software, to the code, to the content, things like that, and drive it that way. So to me, that is what shaped and has changed our industry, and we're still trying to figure out how to keep up with something like that. I think the challenge that we're going to face and it's the challenge that's going to happen to our schools. Our schools are going to continue to go through budget cuts for the next couple of years. I think that the big element that's going to happen is we're going to end up back at a 1 to 30, 1 to 35 student to teacher ratio. It took us 20 years to get it down to where it is now. We're going to lose that in a period of a few years. So I think the big thing that we're going to be talking about here, how do we now drive whole class instruction along with individualized learning? And for a teacher to have 35 students and to drive individual learning, the only way something like that's going to be possible is through the use of technology. And I think that's the type of things that we'll be looking at, is how do I have a teacher who has 35 students, 3 of them have autism, 1 of them has special needs. There's all kinds of different variables going on in these 35 children. And what is the technology that we're using to help support that teacher so that they become a facilitator, a moderator, and a teacher for all of these students? And the technology, I think, is going to have to be able to help drive that. So when I look at 5 years from now, we're going to be talking about here's how one teacher can use technology to keep 35 ping pong balls underwater with one hand. So when I look at the SIIA Tech Summit here, this is kind of my opportunity to check in this conference, that it's checking in for 2 things. One, it's reconnecting with the people that we're forming relationships, we're driving our business forward with. It's the people that we want to do business with or want to partner with to drive our business forward. I think the other big element where I like this conference is this is also our chance to check in and kind of see the trends that are going on so that we're aware of what's happening. It's my chance to help. We bring several of our portfolio companies, we bring several of our staff members here from the companies around the CEO of, just because this is their education chance to really kind of see what's going on. And then once they see it, because of the networking opportunity, it isn't just what you see, it's in the fact that you can go then turn around and talk to other people and get their thoughts on it. The panelists have good information, but the panelists aren't necessarily providing you the authority. The panelists are providing you the food for thought. And then it's the conversation, the networking, that drives that food for thought into, actionable items and things that you might consider in your business. Connecting back in with the people that I haven't seen for 6 months, where you're not in a customer-oriented business, or a meeting, where you actually had a chance to sit down and be able to talk and think about what could be, I think is the big thing to look forward to.